Welcome back, students. In this video, we're going to cover Lesson 5-5. This is Proving Right Triangles Congruent. We got three standards for this topic, GR 1.2, 1.3, and 1.6, and they are written below the title. So they've condensed this lesson down, excuse me, to one page, and that's why I asked you guys, and so I say welcome back, but welcome to those of you that are watching because you heard me offer the extra credit, and yes, just do these notes, and I'll stamp and give you extra credit for doing this over the long weekend. And if you listen through the whole video, there is a bonus word that gets you extra credit if you listen. Again, you have to listen and watch the whole video. That's the whole thing, but this one should be pretty quick. So listen out. Anyway, so they've condensed this down. They're only really talking about one of these theorems, but we're going to kind of touch on all of them at the bottom of the page. You'll see in the summary. The extra practice for this, it's 1 through 6. It's 6 proofs. So, and they'll come off of this. No, there's no word bank, but see what you can do with them. We got a good example below, and I'm here to help, but I do want you to try first. So let's get into this. They talking immediately about hypotenuse leg. So, if the hypotenuse and leg of one right triangle are congruent to the hypotenuse and corresponding leg of another right triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay, so Mr. Whitlock, they're called sides. Well, so for the right triangle, you have leg. This is a leg. The hypotenuse is the long side. So a couple of things. It's always across from the 90-degree angle. I'm going to go ahead and just turn this right leg here. So leg, hypotenuse, but it's always across from the 90-degree angle, and it's always the longest side of the right triangle. So hypotenuse leg, see, this is hypotenuse, and this is one of the legs, so that's where your hypotenuse leg comes from. Obviously, these are angles. We don't really talk about the right triangle because they both have it. So it's just kind of a understood. We're not going to talk about it. So you only need two corresponding parts, either two legs, or a thigh joke, or hypotenuse leg, as they told us, leg and an angle, or leg. But we'll talk about it again below. So so our example here, Craig and his brother are painting a house. The brothers use ladders that are the same length. Now, I filled this out ahead of time because I'm thinking in terms of vocabulary. I should have read all the words, but we're going to do a narrative proof, and it's all right. So because the wall of the house, so we're thinking, so we got a right triangle, and that's what's made up here. So your ladder is your hypotenuse. The side of the house would be here, and this is the ground, and it makes up a right triangle. So because the wall of the house is perpendicular to the ground, so like we talked about the wall in the classroom, if you stand up completely straight, you're perpendicular to the ground. Anyway, so because the wall of the house is perpendicular to the ground, the triangles formed by the house, the ground, and the ladders are right triangles. Okay, like I was saying over here. The hypotenuses are congruent. So we're putting two ladders up against the side of the house. So the ladders are the same length, so those are the hypotenuses. That's the ladder. And they're congruent because they're the same length. The corresponding legs, so that's the ground. It's congruent because the ladders are placed the same distance from the house. So the triangles are congruent by the hypotenuse leg congruence theorem, or HL. Thus, AB is congruent to BC by CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. If you didn't know that, write that. at the bottom of the page. That's not the bonus word. That's, you need to do this. You need to write that at the bottom of the page. So write it out. Write out what CPCTC means. All right. And let's see, you can conclude the ladders reach the same same height on the side of the house. So because they were the same distance, because the ladders were the same, then you can just assume the other part because by the CPCTC, because those triangles made by all those parts are congruent. All right, let's get down here. So it's example 1 check, but I'm going to go ahead and do this with you. And for those of you that are listening, well, never mind. I'm not going to say anything. If you're paying attention, you see what's highlighted. That's all I'll say. So, complete the 2-column proof to show the triangles formed by the diagonal support posts. So, that's these guys. Remember, diagonal goes this way. This is horizontal. This is vertical. This is diagonal, either way. So, this way and this way. All right, so are congruent. So, B is the midpoint. So we've got B as the midpoint of AE. See, here's a blank, so we can just go ahead and know that that's given. Kind of look as you go. Now, because this is true here, let's just do this. Then I'm going to say that AB is congruent to BE, EB, which is right here. And no, I'm sorry. AB, yeah, EB. Oh no, it's right here, but so it's number 4. Excuse me. So we just marked this, and why were these congruent? Because this was the midpoint. So you can either say midpoint theorem or definition of a midpoint. Got a little rough at the end, sorry. All right, so statement 1 was given here. Statement 2, so CAB and DEB are right triangles because the definition of a right triangle is a triangle with a right angle. So that's why we were able to say that. 3 was given right here. 4 was midpoint because of the given by 3. 5 was your other give. Where'd it go? Right here. That's why it's given. And then last, so CB, the diagonals. That's right. Let's just do this. So CB and DB. All right, so now we have the hypotenuse and a leg. So HL, well, and it's asking to prove, so what you would write here would be triangle CAB is congruent to triangle DEB. Whoops, B. And it's because of HL, because of the hypotenuse and the leg. Now, I should have probably done one tick here, 2 there, but it's fine. We established this before that because we were marking our stuff there. So they asked us to prove if these 2 triangles were congruent. They are, because they have a hypotenuse that is congruent and they have a leg. So HL. So as I said, this is 1 through 6. And I thought 10 minutes. Here we are. We're going to get it in under 10. So yeah, again, 1 through 6, they're proofs. Just write them out like this. Just do the best you can. Summary, so if the hypotenuse and the leg of one right triangle are congruent to the hypotenuse and the corresponding leg of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. And it told you corresponding leg up at the top of the page. What criteria can be used to prove that right triangles are congruent? So you have the hypotenuse leg that we learned at the top of the page. You have hypotenuse angle. So that's if the hypotenuse and one of the 2 acute angles. So not the right. Remember, the right is just understood. both of the legs can be congruent. A leg and an angle can be congruent, and then both angles can be. So we'll just, so hypotenuse, leg, hypotenuse, angle, angle, leg, 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 angle, angle, angle. I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so meant to give the word in the middle, but I didn't. So if you're still listening, the bonus word for this video is long weekend. So if you send me a message in Focus or on Teams, it says long weekend, I will give you bonus credit for this video 5-5. And along with, if you're doing this over the long weekend, have the notes done, and I will stamp that to show that you did it early and give you the 5 bonus points extra on the notes for that. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a good rest of your weekend. If you're watching it then, if you're watching it later, well, enjoy your evening or night as well. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.